For verify method, I will use the verify password function. So create this verify method. I will send the JSON web token on successful login. So I will use the JSON web token package. So, so JWT sign method took the payload. Payload I provided the user which we find, and it also needs the JWT secret and the JWT TTL. JWT TTL it means how much the token will be valid. After this, the JWT TTL time period, the token will be expired, and the JWT secret is to retrieve the token. I will mention those in the config. Now, if I come to the explanation of this code, this verify method, here I use the JSON Web Token package JWT. So the JSON Web Token is an npm package for Node.js that allows you to work with JSON Web Tokens, JWTs. JSON Web Tokens are a compact and self-contained way to represent information between two parties as a JSON object. They are commonly used for authentication and the authorization purpose. So JSON web tokens have several uses. Create JWTs. You can create JWTs by signing a payload with secret key and a private key. Here I created with the sign method. Uh, After done, when user logs in or when you need to issue tokens for authorization. It also have the verify JWTs. You can verify the authenticity of the JWT by checking its signature and expiration. This is essential for ensuring that the token has not been tampered with. And the decode JWT, you can decode the payload of the JWT to access the claims from the client sides. Here you can see the JWT sign method. Here I pass the user 0, so it's the payload which contains the first name, last name, email, and the informations of the users. So it can be decoded in the client sides. It contains basically claims or information about the users. Next, we have the JWT secret. This is secret key that is used to sign the JWT when the JWT is created. It's digitally signed with the secret key to ensure that it has not been tampered with. Next, we have the expired sign, and I pass the JWT TTL, which value is the 1 day. So JWT TTL is the expiration time. It's likely holds a value represent the time to live for the JWT token, which is usually defined in seconds. I mention in days. For 1 day, this token will be valid. So before generating the token, you can see here I verify the passwords with the verify password method. Verify password method use the bcrypt.compare. So this code use basically the bcrypt library compare the provided password with the stored hash. This password is the user's input passwords, and the hash is previously hash passwords that has been stored in the database. Uh, Here bkeep the function compares the provided passwords with the hash. It performs following steps. It applies the same hash functions to the passwords to generate a new hash. It then compares the newly generated password with the stored hash password. If they match, it returns true, indicating a successful password verification. If they don't match, it returns false. So this helps ensure secure password storage and authentication in the application. So you can see here the is match. If the is match true, then I am generating the token and providing the token to the user, and if not match, I am returning null. And if the user is not present, then I am throwing the here will be the password doesn't match. Here will be the user not found. I have to correct it little here. If it's match is match, basically if it's match, then it will go to here, and if doesn't match, leave it there. And if user dot length greater than 0, then we have the user, and if not, I will return null so that I can return. If user not present, then I can return the user not found. And if anything happens, then I will throw the error password doesn't match. It is correct now. Next, I will add the controller. Controller will call this verify and the create method for register and login. First, let's rename those. Instead of the underscore, I will rename those with this convention. Same for the helper. In this file, I will define the post register call and the post login call for the registration and the login. Now, if I come to the explanation, here is the post register method where I am getting the request.body.user, the request body in the props, and I am providing this in the model helper. We have the find one methods. So find one method, I am providing the props the email, find one by email. If the user is present, then I am throwing the error. I am returning error, the conflict error. The username already exists. If it's not, then I am creating the user. So we have here the create method, which insert a row into the user table. And if anything error happens, then it will handle by the error middleware. Next, I have the post login. Post login, I am by the destructuring the object, I am getting the email and password. If the email and password is not provided, then I am returning the error, the bad request. Email and password is the required field. Then I am calling the user.verify method to verify the email and password. So if you go to the models and the user model, here we have the verify, which actually verify the email and password. If user is not present with the provided email, then I am returning the error, the user not found. And if it's not, then the login is successful if it's returning true. And if any error throws, then it's unauthorized. So you can see here, I handle the user dot length. If the user dot length is 0, then I am returning null, the user not found. And if anything error happens, I am throwing error, the password doesn't match, unauthorized, and the password doesn't match. Next, I will add the route, which will call these methods in the controller. I forgot to export this. Next, I have to mount it in the app.js. All looks fine. Let's start the server. So you can see the cannot find model. The error middleware. So I rename those. I have to refactor those things. So quickly I'm refactoring. Next server is listening 3001. Next I will create the rest.http. I have REST client installed so that I can test the API from the Visual Studio Code. This one. So here is my payload, the test@gmail.com, and the password will be the password Will Smith, and the role will be the number. So let's test it. So I send it to the user, not able to find the user. So I have to debug this. So if you see in the app.js files, here we need a middleware to parse the requested JSON body. So I have to add this app.use express.json. So this log, you can see the order from the model index. So if you go to the model here, here is the debug files. I am collecting all the files in the directory. This is the user model. Now let's test it. On next.select is not a function. It's not able to find the next. I have to look into. So if you see the package.json file, here I provided the node environment.dev. But if you see in the next file.js, we have the development. So I have to change it to the dev. Now it should work. It is still next.select is not for function. Sorry, I miss here one file. Here you can see I am requiring the next file, which is the configuration. So I need the connection. I need the database connection of the Postgres using Next.js based on this configuration or based on this environment. So I will create the connection.js file inside the database directory. By the way, code base, the repository I will mention in the description so that you can see the full code base, the final code base, and the work that should work. So here I am setting the node environment in the environment variable. If you go to the package.json file, you can see the node env set to the prod and the dev for the production and the development. If anything not provided, then it will by default take dev. Then I am requiring the next.js library. Then I from the config I am taking the next file configuration and next. Sorry, I don't need model. This will be the module. So my the next functions, this actually export the configuration Next.js instance for the specific environments. Config environment.trim retrieve the configurations based on the environment. Here we have the dev or the production. Okay, now import it in the index.js file instead of with the database and the connection. Now paste it. So you can see it's giving me the 200 response. The registration is successful, and the user is also giving me which users is it's inserted into the database. Let's check from the Postgres. I am accessing by the PSQL command line tool. So my table is users. So you can see admin Gmail. This is from the seed, and here I inserted this. It's in decoded form. Next, I will test the login. I have So login route is the slash login and the test order and the password. So it should return me the token, but the data and the hash arguments are required. So I have to debug it. This should be from the hash function. So if you see here, I provided in the array. Instead of array, this will be the single argument. If you see the verify password method, the password and the hash. Now test it. So you can see it's 200 response and the login successful. I got the token, and if I decode the token, so I should get the first name, last name, email and the details. So I will copy it and I will go to this site jwt.io, and here if you paste the encoded things, you can see the ID is 7, the test gmail.com, Will Smith, members created at, and here is this the expiration and all the things, and if you match with this it's same. So we added the